You're listening to the Outstanding Life Podcast with your host, Johnny D, the Motivational Cowboy. As a motivational speaker, Johnny D impacts audiences around the world with his message of living the outstanding life. He's a best-selling author, MC, and two-time Grammy-considered artist. This podcast is a place where Johnny D can introduce you to his outstanding friends and share funny, interesting, and heart-provoking stories. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Here comes your host, Johnny D.
This episode is fueled by Stephen Becker and Susan Richardson. Thank you so much for your donation. Today's show is about love, faith, prayer, endurance, hope, tears, joy, victory, and the strength of family. From the brink of death to the top levels of racing, a recovery story scripted by the hands of God. All right, we got Jimmy on the line right now. I can't see him, but I can hear him. Jimmy, what's going on?
That's not always a bad thing.
I was just telling everybody, Jimmy, and it happened in a sprint car back in October 13th, 2004. Walk us through, the accident. Right before the accident, though, at what age did you get your start in racing?
I started racing the big block dirt modifieds up at Sharon Speedway when I was 15. My dad has raced those, since I was born, and that was just kind of natural step to get into those. And then I raced those for a couple years, and then jumped into the sprint cars. 2004 was my first year in the sprint cars, and actually, had some success. We were having fun and running well. And it was the USAC race down at Charlotte, or at the dirt track at Lowe's. And what happened? I caught a rut in the track and flipped up into the fence. And then in one of the flips, the top of the roll cage was ripped off the car, and my head hit the pole in the fence.
Wow.
So my injuries didn't come from like the whiplash, like so many people, like Dale Earnhardt and so many other people did. Mine came from like my head hitting it and compressing everything downward.
Wow.
So I was in a coma. I have.
That's what I was just telling everybody. They expected you to be in the hospital after the accident. We're looking at pictures right now of the accident, and I mean, literally, there's nothing there of the car.
No.
They estimated that you were going to be in the hospital for at least 6 months. Dude,
yeah, and that's just if I made it through. They said they gave me a 5% chance to live that night.
Wow.
And then by the grace of God, I walked out, and 6 weeks maybe. I forget.
It's
how many
7
weeks.
It was. Yeah, it was 7 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? You were talking about. Like literally, the car was hanging on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Your body was just limp, laying there. This is what's so awesome. While you in the car was hanging on the catch fence, your mother saw Jesus and Mary holding you.
Yep, and that's.
I get chills. I get chills thinking about it. Obviously, you are a faith-based family.
Absolutely.
In person, and that all by itself is wonderful. Walk us through what you remember, or now your family telling you about. Obviously, you don't remember the crash.
I remember a little bit about that day. My last good memory is the night before. Chris, my friend who helped us on the car, him and I flew down to Charlotte the night before, and I remember going to the gas station to get some pop that night, and. After that, I'm kind of blank. I remember a little bit, I think, because people would tell me. I went to the gas station with my mom right before the race, and I kind of remember that, but I think it's just more just people told me that's what happened. But then after that, I'm blank. I'm blank for a month and a week later, and that was my birthday, and I had some friends come down to the hospital, or to the rehab to see me on my birthday, and... if you want to have a crazy birthday party, the rehab center is the way to go. But
Jimmy,
and so I don't know if I remembered more before that, because every day was the same. So I don't know if I remembered more from before that, or if that was like my first actual memory. I'm not real sure.
Right. I remember being on stage with you for years. Interviewing you at the Chevy stage. And you always said, Johnny, it's so cool to be able to have this accident, because now when when people say, dude, what's your problem? Do you have brain damage? And you're like, absolutely, I do. Yeah. And that's something that you used to joke around about not, just having some fun with it, and having an excuse.
Yeah, absolutely. And the issue is people started realizing what I was doing. Like if I didn't want to pay attention to somebody when they were talking, I could just tell them I forgot or I don't remember, and I didn't have to really pay attention. But now that people kind of picked up on what I've done,
right,
and I thought it worked well because my wife didn't know me, or we knew of each other a little bit before I got hurt, but I didn't really ever hang out with her till afterwards. Now, so I used that excuse a lot until she realized what I was doing, and then it got me in trouble.
Well, let me ask you this: I mean, after that accident, 2 years later, and that was. 2 years later, it was 2006. You said to your parents, "Hey, listen, man, I want to get back in the race car. I want to go back racing." And you went and you started working out again. You started doing all the right things, and you got cleared by the doctors to start racing again. I mean, what was in your mind? What's inside of a race car driver? What's inside of a man that wants to get back into a race car after literally you almost die? They gave you 5% chance to live, and you want to get back into a race car and go.
Nobody's ever said race car drivers are that smart. That's how I tell everybody. I say, once the racing's in your blood, it doesn't matter how hard you get hit in the head; it's not coming out.
Yeah.
But, I had the physical stuff, and I went to sleep and all, but I didn't have the emotional and the mental side of actually seeing the accident. So I was on the easier side of it. In that perspective, so I was able to just get back to living life. Like that's the life I knew beforehand.
Yeah.
So I thought that's the way life was supposed to be. So I just kind of went back to doing that.
That's unbelievable. And what was it like when you went to your parents, and especially your mom? I mean, because your dad obviously got it, because your dad was a racer himself. But what was it like telling your mother, "Hey, Mom, I want to get back in the race car"? Because I remember her telling me a story that as soon as you got out of the coma, the first thing you said to your mother was, "Hey, I got to get the heck out of here. I got to race next weekend."
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that was the first thing you were able to whisper to your mother was, I got to get out of here. I got to go racing.
And I think that just, it never really left me because that was just life, and I think Mom kind of had an idea right then about what I was going to try to do, but when I told her, I don't exactly remember the moment that I told her that, but I imagine there was a beer getting cracked right when I said that. After trying to drink it away.
Well, and you jumped right back into it too, man. I mean, you jumped right into the big block modifieds, and you spent a half year doing that. Yeah, and that kind of, like I said, that Dad was still doing that, so it kind of made sense for me. And we're real good friends with Dave Blaney. Yep.
He owns Sharon Speedway, so I was able to get up there and make some laps and just get back to feeling good again, and it all came back. It was kind of surprising. It took the first couple laps slow, and then it came back a lot quicker than I planned on it doing.
Yeah. So you said your dad's a racer, and did you guys race together? I got just a quick question, getting off the accident for a minute. Did you ever race against your father?
We did. I did. I ran the first couple years in the modifieds before I jumped to the sprint cars, and then actually when I got hurt, I ran with him again, and then when I came back from being down south, I raced with him again. So. What
was that like if you beat your dad that night? I mean,
that didn't happen very often. Dad was one of the good guys. That didn't happen very often. The funny story was I was leading the race, and Dad was running second, and he moved me. And it wasn't anything major. He just moved me, and he won the race. I finished second. I don't think Mom talked to him for a couple weeks. She was mad as could be. But no, it was good because after being down south and that, learning a lot of stuff down there, him and I were a lot more competitive and racing side by side and that. So it's fun. He's just another person when you're out there, but at the same time, when you're beside him, he's just another person. But then, if I was behind him and he's running somebody down, I was looking after him, cheering that way for him. But once you get to racing, he's just anybody else.
Outside of racing, what does Jimmy Weller like to do? Not now. I'm talking about back then when you were racing every weekend.
Oh, okay.
Because I know your story is completely different these days, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, anything I could do to be outside. I I like golfing. To be outside, I like being out in the woods. It's funny. I like cutting grass. I like just being outside and relaxing, and anything that kind of like that. Hanging out with friends at the time. I was 18, so I was enjoying life there, hanging out with friends, and racing was always the main thing for me. It always went back to racing.
Now, are you one of those guys that it didn't matter what you were racing, you just wanted to race? Was everything you did it have to be fast? Yeah,
it did, and it just it didn't matter. Like I said, it didn't matter what it was, and it was asphalt or dirt. I haven't gotten in some cars, on the dirt side that I ran from a friend one time that probably wasn't the safest thing, but it was a ride, and I enjoyed it. I always told everybody I wanted to make a living racing. The Cup Series was the goal, because that's being the highest form, in the States like that.
Yep.
But if I was racing sprint cars, modified, it didn't matter. I was going to be having fun racing.
And after the accident, you got into the Truck Series. You did some Xfinity racing. What's it like, Jimmy? I mean, a lot of us that are listening to you right now, we don't know what it's like to go 200 miles per hour. Mm-hmm. Will you explain to me and the listeners right now what it's like to get inside of a race car and hit speeds of over 200 miles per hour and not think about what you dealt with when you were 18 years old?
Yeah, it's like the bigger tracks on the speed wise, Matt, you have time to think about things. Like you don't really feel the speed when you're on the bigger tracks, unless you kind of catch something out of the corner of your eye and then you realize how fast you're really going.
Right.
The smaller tracks, the things are happening a lot faster. That's when you kind of feel how quick you're going. But just to climbing into a car and knowing that's how fast you're going to go. I mean, you pull your belts tight and you do everything you can and you say a prayer and you go have fun. So you can't you can never look at the bad, because that's like when you start being more cautious, and I think that's when bad things happen. So
yeah.
It's an experience that and I feel bad that nobody not everybody gets to do it. Took my wife down to Charlotte and let her do the Richard Petty deal, so she got to experience that. So it's just so people can understand it. She can understand what life was, and people can understand that it's a completely different deal, but it's more fun than anything I've ever done. So.
I did the same thing. I wanted to, after so many years of interviewing you drivers, I wanted to experience what it's like to be in a race car, and I did the Richard Petty experience, and I just did the ride along, and I did I think 10 laps or whatever it was at Daytona. And I tell you what, I got out of the car realizing what I don't want to do and realizing what I love doing, and that is just talking to you guys and you girls about racing, because it's definitely a different experience of, you were right up against the wall at almost 200 miles per hour. You were up against the wall at over 200 miles per hour. I can't even imagine what it's like to be in the race car, the race truck, and, having a spotter, somebody in your ear. Were you always one of those guys that liked a lot of chatter and a lot of information in your ear?
Yeah, that didn't bother me. Because a lot of times, especially on the dirt stuff, when you get into a rhythm and start doing well, I'd sing to myself. I'd do different things. So, the more talk I heard, actually, the more it helped me concentrate. Because I wasn't, your mind couldn't wander that way, so you're kind of concentrating a little bit more.
Explain to us how you get into a rhythm at hitting speeds of 150, 160, 170, 180 miles per hour. How do you get into a rhythm?
It's just kind of like timing-wise. And sometimes it's the sound of the car. Other times it's just kind of hitting the same mark every time on the racetrack. You drive a dirt car different than you do an asphalt car. But You're still looking at your different spots and just kind of feeling, and a lot of it has to do with feel too. When you kind of feel the car do this, you can kind of make it start to do one thing with it. So there's just a lot of feel. But then when you get in that rhythm and you're hitting the same lap every time, it's and you're just kind of driving. You don't have to really think about so hard. You just kind of start reacting. That's when you're going good.
So is there a difference between going 150 miles per hour and 200? At what point? I guess what I'm asking you, at what point do you know you're going fast?
To be honest, on the big racetracks on Daytona and that, you don't really get a sense of speed because everybody's going the same speed, the same direction.
Okay.
Until you catch something. I caught something out of the corner of my eye that was up against the wall, and then you realize how bad that was going to hurt. you knew how fast you were going. But like some of the smaller tracks, where you actually really said you're racing back and forth, and you kind of get the feeling that way.
Yeah.
But what I said, when you're going around Daytona and you're catching things out of the corner of your eye, it's one thing to be on the track, just looking at the track. When you're seeing things in the infield, seeing things in the stands, like out of the corner of your eye, that's when you can really feel the speed.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Jimmy, you're just such a nice young man. I have to ask, are you the same, or were you the same guy inside the race car as you were outside the race car? Or did you turn into a different person?
For the most part, I was a lot more serious in the car. But at the same time, if I had fun, that's when we ran well.
Right.
If I wasn't having fun, then I think kind of showed. Just because like when I got relaxed in that. But I've done things when I didn't appreciate somebody else doing something that probably wasn't the nicest of things to do in a car. But for the most part, I think don't think I made too many enemies.
A question came in on social media today, and this was so cool. And I had to ask you, being a race car driver, when you took and got your permit and you went and got your license, did you actually pass the test the first time?
I did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. And I took that pretty seriously because there's a lot of pressure there. I mean, if you're doing this and that's what you like to do, there's pressure on it if you don't. If you have to go back to school the next day and say you didn't pass.
Right.
You take that pretty seriously. Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, the last couple of days going through video, going through pictures of you in the race truck, in the race cars, what was your most memorable moment in NASCAR?
To be honest, it was we ran. I think we finished 9th at Daytona in the truck our first time there.
Yep.
And you're proud for you to do it, but you're proud to see whatever, and to see how proud my dad was. That was probably the coolest thing. That get the handshake and hug afterwards. This is kind of see how proud he was of it, and knowing that everything that we worked for, was all coming true that way. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I know how close you are to your family, because I know that every time you were able to come out and I was able to do an interview with you, if it wasn't both of your parents with you, it was at least your mother. And let's talk a little bit about your mother right now, because after all of this, I'll never forget how excited she was when she told me that she was going to write a book about what happened to you.
Yep.
It's called Race Again by Ronnie Weller. And what was it like for you? I mean, obviously you were in a coma for 2 weeks. You weren't there, like, you know what I mean, mentally and physically, because you were in a coma. But what was it like for you to relive her writing the book?
To be honest, I learned stuff from the book. Like you said, I was asleep for a lot of it.
Yeah.
So I learned some stuff that went on. I learned more of what she felt, just because she wouldn't tell me that just because she don't make me feel bad,
Yeah.
But I learned a lot, and I learned how hard it was on everybody. It was harder on everybody else being around it than it was on me, because I went to sleep, where they had to go through all that, and to see your son do that. I fully, I don't know if I fully understood it until having, Ellie, having a baby of my own. Now you're starting to understand that a lot more, So
yeah.
It's now it kind of puts things into perspective.
Well, one thing, I mean, you did start remembering when you were in rehab and stuff. I mean, you had to learn how to talk again. You had to learn how to walk again and stuff like that. Was racing your motivation to get back to being able to just walk and talk? To do the things that we take for granted, like eating by yourself? I mean, you could even do a lot of these things. You couldn't do it yourself.
No, and I really couldn't. And that was something that's what I wanted to do. And I felt like nothing was going to stop me getting back. And having that, and brought me through the hard time. And, my faith in God and knowing that I can get back through this,
Yeah.
And that was, I think everybody, when they're going through a hard time, if you have something to really work for, I think that helps.
Yeah.
And, obviously having the support and, my parents being there, my brother was awesome to me. He kind of became the big brother.
Right.
But, I mean, he'd be the one to Jim. I got there, I got feeling a little better. He goes, I don't know if I'd be doing that. That's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Really took care of me that way. But yeah, that having that drive to get back, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I knew what to do. So that was that kind of kept me going.
If you don't believe in God. And I'm not here to preach or anything else, but I mean, guys, if you don't mind, Angel, Dave, bring up the picture again of his race car. If you could flip through, a couple of those photos again of his race car. If you don't believe in God, and when you look at your accident, and you look at that car. I'm looking at a picture right now. It's hanging in the catch fence. Your body's limp and just hanging there. Mm-hmm. What was it like for you to get back to church? I know how much God means to you. What did it mean for you to be able to get back into church?
That was really special to me, and it's just being there, and it was cool because in the hospital they had a priest that come every Sunday and talk to you and give you communion.
Yeah,
and that's important. I mean that helped me know that I'm getting better. But no matter, I think I even told my mom this, afterwards, no matter what, Mom, I was doing what I love, and I was going to be okay. If I didn't make it, I was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that was real. And one of the memories I have from coming back home was the first time I got to walk up to communion in church. I'd been in a wheelchair. Mom had to help me, or somebody had to push me. And then, but the one time I told my mom, said, "No, this is how I'm going to walk." So I can still picture the people's faces seeing me walk up there the first time. It was pretty special feeling.
Yeah.
And knowing where I was, that God was the one that brought me to where I was it was pretty amazing.
Jimmy, you're married now to Katie, and you have a little baby girl.
Yes, sir.
Things changed.
Yeah,
Things have changed,
really
my friend.
Went from racing being life to not racing, getting married, and having a daughter. I mean, the three probably biggest things I could have had happen pretty quick.
Yeah, no, that is so cool, man. I know that I know that things have changed when you say, Johnny, I would love to do your show. I would love to do it, in a couple days with you, but I got to ask my wife first.
Yeah, we when I go home after work, she she'll either if Ellie's sleeping, I'll hang out with her, and then Katie will go work and do the donkey stuff. Take care of the animals.
Wait, wait. Did you just say you have donkeys?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we got 4 miniature donkeys and then 5 chickens running around. So we had more chickens, but we've lost a couple.
So listen, you were saying earlier that you're really starting to understand more and more, and I got to be honest with you. My whole life changed when I had a daughter 28 years ago, and it really does change your life. If your daughter comes to you in the next 4 or 5 years and says, "Dad, I want to start racing," what are you going to say to your daughter?
I'm going to try to keep that part of my life away from her. No, I think.
What would Katie say?
Yeah, I think she'd do the same. But,
you'd get her into golf or something, right?
Yeah, exactly right. That's what I actually had. It was kind of funny. I had racing on the one day, and Ellie started watching it, so I hurried up and turned golf on. I didn't want to screw her up from the beginning.
I love it.
No, I always thought that'd be cool if she wanted to race, or if I had whatever child we had wanted to race. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not going to push anything for that. It's whatever she wants to do. I kind of, and Katie's the same way. If she wants to get in a race car. Katie wasn't really around racing a whole lot, so I don't know if that'd be her first choice, but she'd be all about it too.
Jimmy, in the last episode, you ended the episode with saying, how cool it was to get through all the rehab that you had to do to, learn how to eat again, walk again, drink again, doing all those things. But one of the biggest highlights of the rehab was getting back to church.
Yes, sir.
Getting back up to be able to get up and get communion for the first time by yourself, not having the priest bring it to your bedside. Talk a little bit about your faith and how powerful it is. Was it something that was always with you, or was it something that you really found God after the accident? I mean, you're only 18 years old.
Growing up, faith was always important to us. My parents, instilled that on me when I was little, and learning about God and being part of the church.
Yeah.
But it never. I was still young enough to where I don't know if I fully understood things in that, and I still don't. But getting hurt and knowing that He's the reason, that God's the reason I'm here. I mean, that changed your life. You don't miss church. I don't miss church. It's been really hard with the virus going around to where we weren't allowed to go to church. But we found a church on the computer that we watched every week.
Yep.
And that was important, very important for us. We're still with the virus. We weren't able to get Ellie baptized just yet, but now we have that planned out. So it's going to be cool to watch her grow up into it as well, and hopefully instill the faith in her that. I think that's the right word, instill.
Yeah, absolutely.
That my parents did for us, or for me and my brother.
That is so cool. We talked about like heroes and stuff like that, people that you looked up to in the racing business besides your dad. And that was Dave Blaney. Is that right? Now, did you like him because of the dirt racing? Did you like him because of the NASCAR stuff? Why was it Dave Blaney? When you have mentors, the first thing you always say is your family, but then it was always Dave Blaney.
Yeah, when growing up, he was he was from right where I'm from, and he raced the Sharon Speedway there. His dad, Lou Blaney, was one of the best in modifieds probably ever. I mean, especially in our area, he was the man. And I grew up with him and Dave, because Dave was already out traveling when I was really starting to get into things. But no, Dave I liked him from the dirt cars. He ran a sprint car, and that was my dream. Then he went from sprint car to the Cup Series. So that was my my all-out dream was to do that. So,
right.
And being around his family and that, and Dave, Dave helped me get to where I was. He was the one that moved me down to North Carolina. I worked out of his shop. When I first moved down, I actually lived in the race truck in the shop parking lot for a while. And
Wait, you lived in a truck?
Yeah. Well, I say truck to add some, because that's to sound cooler, but it was like a little motorhome deal. So I mean, I wasn't hurt by any means. Like I wasn't roughing it, but I like to say truck just to make it sound better for the story. But no, but so I lived in the shop parking lot. We worked out of his shop, and then when the truck would actually come back home during the winter to get maintenance and that, I'd live in the hotel for a little bit. Then I'd stay at his house. So he kind of, like I say, he took me under his wing and really helped teach me things there. I learned the racing side, the driving side. I learned the business side from him. So, and he was just back. He was up here at Sharon this past weekend. So, still great friends of my family. Cool getting to hang out with them, and and being friends with Ryan, and the stuff they've done for us. Like my wife's brother and I, we started a charity back in 2018 called Beacon of the Valley.
Yep.
It helps kids 12 and under in the Shenango Valley or the Mahoning Valley, which is our area here. And
that's Ohio, right?
Friends. Ohio, yep.
Yep.
So we go Trumbull County and Mahoning County in Ohio, and then Mercer County in Pennsylvania, because we're right on the border.
Okay.
And we got some friends, Michael Della Quadre, Chris Chalky, Emily Henderson, or Hendershot. Oh, almost said that. I get yelled at. Annie and Chad Wagner. We all kind of got together and put this charity. And our big event for this year was we had Night with the Racers at Yankee Lake. We had a couple local bands play. Actually, the fellow that was trying to help me get my computer going, his band played. They did an awesome job. But then Ryan and Dave came up to sign autographs.
Wow.
And it was on their dime. They wouldn't let me pay them back. They wouldn't let the charity pay them back. They came over because they wanted to do it. And we cleared $20,000 that night. So
Isn't it so awesome when you see families like that, Jimmy, and yours is just like that. But when you see, Ryan's in a top-notch car right now, he has the fame and fortune and everything else, and his dad, but they still never forget where they come from.
Exactly right. Mm-hmm.
And you and your family are just that way as well.
I appreciate that. Mm-hmm.
No, and I know that how important charity is, and I'm glad you brought that up. You love telling your story about the racing and about overcoming obstacles and stuff like that. If somebody's listening right now, Jimmy, that they have an obstacle in front of them, maybe it wasn't a race car accident, whatever it is, what advice could you give them?
My first thing would be, the faith. God brought me through it. He'll bring you through it. There's nothing that you can't do with him. He's there with you through it all. And then the second thing is as cliche as it is to say, is not give up and always strive for that. See yourself getting better and working for it. Everybody, I had the physical, the injuries and that, and then some of the mental stuff that came with it.
Yeah.
But, there's people that go through hard times all the time. Family members are sick, dying, loss of job, anything, all the hard things that people are going through. And I said, never losing faith in God and trying to, never giving up yourself. That's, on the personal side, that's the biggest thing, is not giving up. And,
yep.
And, it's a ride for everybody, but try to have fun when you can and enjoy it, and just kind of look for the future. And,
speaking of having a little bit of fun with you, something that, you've done your own public speaking and stuff like that. I know that, you've done a lot of, things like that. And people don't realize that when you are a NASCAR driver, there's other things that go on. There's a business behind it. You know what I mean? And there's things that you have to go and do. And that is, there's Q&As. There's times that you have to get up in front of people. You loved being able to go and tell your story. This is from one motivational speaker to another. What was it like the first time you got out of your fire suit, you put on regular clothes, and you got up in front of 50, 100 people, 500 people to tell your story?
Actually, you kind of helped me through it. We always had fun together, talking back and forth, and that's important.
Yeah,
being able to talk with to communicate with the person, and not just some people just ask you questions, and then they ask you one thing, you give an answer, and then they go on to the next. But,
right.
We kind of converse back and forth. I mean, the first time, Daytona was my first time doing this, and I was kind of not so much nervous, but I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
We went up there, and there was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
At the Chevy stage, I mean, and you got me talking about the time I peed myself in a race car. So, I mean, it was, making people laugh in that, to where it's, I enjoyed that. We always had a good time together.
We're looking at a picture of me and you on stage at Daytona right now so it's really kind of cool. And speaking of that, somebody obviously just heard you say that, because I just got a note and it says, ask him if he ever went to the bathroom in his fire suit during a race. So obviously, Jimmy, the people watching, the people listening right now, they're not all NASCAR fans. So explain to people that have never done this, never maybe even seen a race, but when you are in a race car, race truck for 2-3 hours, and you had a little bit too much water to drink that day, what happens to a racer when they have to go to the bathroom? It's not like you can pull out onto pit road, hop out of the car, go to the restroom, come back and jump back in your car and go finish the race.
Yeah.
Explain to the listeners what happens, Jimmy.
You have to make a choice. You have to look at how you're running, and if you have a chance to win, you do all you can to hold it.
Yeah.
But if there's no chance to win, then you got to make it. You got to do it. It's we were at Concord in a late model race, and
wait a second, Jimmy. What do you mean you have to just do it?
You just go.
You just go. You go to the. So what you're saying is, Jimmy, you go to the bathroom in your fire suit.
Yes. Not very many people admit that, and if the people said they've never done it, they're lying to you. Like local racing and that, no, because it takes the 20 laps, 30 laps, something like that doesn't take too bad. But on the the asphalt side, and that it takes a long time, and normally you sweat it out. Normally it's not that bad, but we were at Concord, and there was a real long red flag. They actually tore some of the fence down with one of the wrecks, and I remember telling the guys, on his race, man, I got to go to the bathroom. I'm in trouble. And the one guy started laughing at me. Yeah, you are. You're in trouble. And a couple minutes later, I said, nope, I'm good. And I had to go back up home that weekend. And when I came back on Monday, there was a box of diapers sitting on the car when I got back.
Nice. That's funny. So, another thing that, we talked a little bit about charity and stuff like that, but another thing that you always liked to do, and that is going to the children's hospitals and stuff like that, being able to give back. What was it like for you to be, 20 years old, 21 years old, being at the, the highest level of NASCAR, but to be able to give back, being able to walk into a hospital full of sick kids in your fire suit and have some fun with them?
It was an awesome feeling. I mean, we were all blessed to be able to do that, go race and have fun and live our lives that way. And there's so many kids that can't. And to be able to go out and do that and bring up, bring their spirits up a little bit. I mean, when you walk into a place and people recognize you and they have big smiles on your face.
Yeah.
I remember there was the Children's Hospital in Charlotte, and I always say it wrong. It's either Levines. I always say it wrong. But I went there for an appearance deal, and just they have their own little radio thing set up in the hospital, and I was dancing with the kids in that, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, you get to kind of see them enjoy that for a little bit, knowing that they have to go back and go through all the stuff that I'll never experience or get to really, or hopefully, you know what I mean?
Right.
The stuff that they have to go through, and you just kind of pray that they can enjoy it, enjoy life. And it's an awesome experience just to be able to see them light up, and when you shake their hand, is how excited they get. And it's a pretty cool deal.
That's so awesome. So you're not racing, right, at all anymore?
No.
The racing, you literally hung up your helmet.
Yep. Yeah. The doctor down in Charlotte that originally let me race, he told me it was time to be done. And this was back in 2017, I think.
Jimmy, what was that like? And listen, man, I'm not trying to be negative here, but I mean, what was it like when you work your whole life doing what you loved to do, and the doctor tells you, "Listen, kid, you're done. You're done racing." Was that something that you're like, no, I'm going to keep doing, I'm not going to listen to the doctor? Or was it like, okay, cool, I have to start doing something else now?
To be honest, it didn't hit me that hard. I feel like when I originally got the okay to do it, I prayed that whatever the doctor said, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And when he said I could race, awesome, I was thrilled. But then, the same prayer went on again, and then when he told me that, it changed life. It changed everything completely, but at the same time, he brought up a pretty good argument. He said, do you like racing or do you like walking?
Right.
And so I'll tell everybody, I really like racing, but I love to walk. And now, I have a friend that he has a real bad back, and he had a hard time picking up his kids because of his back. And, now thinking, I didn't obviously think this at the time, but now, having Ellie and that, to not be able to do that would have been a real tough deal. So it kind of it's just more reassurance that I made the right decision. So
what's Jimmy Weller doing now? I mean, I know you got married, you have a baby and stuff like that, but what are you doing for work these days?
I'm back here working at Liberty Steel Industries.
Okay.
It's a family company, and we do steel stamping, and we're also a service center. So we make like bumpers on Freightliner trucks.
Yeah.
We make a lot of bumpers. We make the grill surrounds.
So it's a stamping plant as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow, that just brought back memories. I worked for a stamping company in Detroit. I was 18 or 19 years old. Mm-hmm. My dad said, if you quit college, this is what you're going to be doing. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to college for the summer. He goes, okay, fine. Then you're going to work here. And he put me to work at a stamping plant. And I'll tell you what, I went back to college. I mean, that was one of the hardest jobs I've ever done. I mean, that's tough. So you're obviously not slinging steel, right? No. And that's one thing, like before I got hurt, I was working in the shop and doing things that we were, like when Liberty Steel, the service center side of it, I was helping on that. And then when I got hurt, I couldn't do a lot of the stuff anymore. They didn't want me doing that. Right.
So, but I agree with what you said. I mean, there's guys out there that some of the parts are 70 pounds, and they're slinging them around all the time and heating that. They deserve a lot of credit. They do an awesome job. But and it's cool, like, because you become friends with everybody. Everybody here is friends. My dad's in charge of a lot of it, and he's friends with everybody. So it's kind of. It sounds cliche, sound like a big family and that, but everybody, sticks up for each other and looks out for each other. So really cool place to work.
So Jimmy Weller works a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Weller got married, has a baby, has donkeys and chickens.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, then
you sound retired already, right?
I'm sorry?
You sound retired.
There's a lot more gray in my hair than there ever was. and I tell my wife that, like even like in the beard, it's starting to come in a little bit. So I make sure she lets you know that I didn't have this beforehand.
I love it. I love it.
But I enjoy that. I enjoy working. It's weird. I enjoy that. And like now I'm involved with an air filter company called Excel Air Filters.
Okay.
Todd Schaefer, he drove for Bobby Daughter as well, about the same time I was in the truck series. And he came up with this air filter. It's an awesome idea. It's the only residential air filter that actually kills viruses. Like,
wow.
We have a spray inside it that actually kills a virus. So, like the coronavirus, and it'll kill this COVID-19. It kills the flu. I mean, it'll even kill HIV. It's an awesome thing.
Wait a second. So it's an air filter that goes into a residential house.
Yep, and it So then
so whatever comes through it, it kills the different viruses and stuff.
Yep. Yes, sir. There's we have an oil in it as well that's patented. And what it does is it catches it's like an oil, like a sticky oil.
Okay.
And it catches the particles going through. But then we also have a spray in it as well that kills the viruses. So, originally we started a couple years ago, and it was tough to get going because these cost a little bit more.
Right.
And we're not jacking the price up. It costs more to make.
Right. Absolutely.
And, now that the COVID-19 is going on in that, I mean, it can help people, and that's not a sales pitch, and
no, I just think it's kind of cool that you went from race car driver to scientist now.
yeah. Like Todd and I were talking about it, and I was helping him with some marketing stuff, and I became the vice president of the company. I knew nothing about air filters at the time.
Yeah.
But, I learned a lot, and what he did was awesome. So as of next week, you'll be able to find them on Menards.com.
Nice.
We'll be for sale on there, and the price on Menards is shipping included. We worked a good deal for shipping in that. So,
well, that's exciting, man. So now you're an entrepreneur as well.
Yep, and I enjoy this. I enjoy the business side and working deals and trying to get things put together that way. So I'm enjoying it.
So that's really cool. So I got to ask, and I know that you're not doing it right now, but because none of us, or at least the whole speaking business, for me, I mean, I went from 257 days being booked this year to nothing. But is that something that you want to get back into? Because with only a couple minutes left, I want people to understand that you want to tell your story. You want to, go to churches and corporations and stuff like that and tell your story.
Yeah, and I feel that's one of the reasons God saved me, is to be able to go out there and show His love and show what He did for me.
Yeah.
And let everyone know that He'd do the same for them. So yeah, I would be happy to. With the racing deal, I was actually doing a lot of it, and getting to travel around and talking to different kids in that, and even different adult venues.
Yep.
But recently, I've kind of I've gotten away from that, not on purpose, just with other things going on. But I'd love to, if there's any opportunities, I'd love to come, talk with them and just try to tell my story and help anyone I can.
And Jimmy, how can people get a hold of you? Are you on social media? Are you on Facebook? I mean, do you have a fan page? Do you have a regular page? How can people find you to be able to get a hold of you if they want you to come?
The best way would be on Facebook and just my name, Jimmy Weller. We had a racing one on there, but it's still on there. But I don't really check anymore. It's been a couple of years since I've really gotten on there. But yeah, and if you send me a message on there and tell me you heard on the show here, I'll get back to you. And that'd probably be the best way to do it.
Yeah. No, I think that is so cool. And again, it's just Jimmy Weller. That is so neat. With just a couple of minutes left, is there anything else that you want to let the people listening know about you, Jimmy? Like, what's something about Jimmy that we don't know? Because we've talked a lot. I mean, are you a guy that likes to, sing karaoke and stuff like that? Do you play instruments
I don't know
and
if
stuff
you
like
heard
that?
me at Talladega that weekend. Yeah, that's Talladega Boulevard. I kind of let, I just,
you let your hair down on the boulevard, huh?
Yeah, exactly right. Yes, sir. No, I enjoy that stuff. I like having fun, and I like being around different people, and just with people in general, and just having fun and enjoying life. But that's one thing. I always used to say no worries until I got hurt. Before I got hurt, and then after I got hurt, like it really no worries. I mean, things are gonna come and go, and times are gonna be tough, but no worries. I mean, just kind of kept the faith in God, and I enjoy life now. I enjoy everything that kind of comes along. I'm able to see the good in it and have fun.
Do you actually take time off on the weekends, or are you a workaholic?
No, I stay busy on the weekends, but a lot of it, is around the house and with the animals and that. And I got to keep up with my wife. She can outwork me. So,
I love that.
I'm not going to let her listen to this part though, just because I just said that. But no. So and now getting to hang out with Ellie and that, like I said, just sitting out on the front patio kind of deal and just hanging out with her, and that's relaxing. And that's more fun than I said earlier. That racing was the most fun I've ever done, but hanging out with Ellie and the wife and that's having a child changes everything. So that's my main priority in life, and that's what brings me the most joy right now.
Jimmy, what's one lesson that you took from NASCAR and you brought to your now new life outside of racing with your wife and your daughter?
I think it kind of goes back to the having fun.
Yeah.
NASCAR, there's so much pressure.
Right. And people don't realize that.
It's a job. It's an awesome job, and it's the best job that I could think of, but it's a job.
Yep.
And so you got to have fun, and that's kind of the same thing at home. And with my wife Ellie, we have fun. I mean, and Ellie's laughing all the time, so I think we're doing a good job with her. I think she's happy, so she laughs a lot, and she's always in a good mood. So hopefully, we kind of keep that going, and just enjoying it.
Well, listen, man, tell your wife and your daughter, thank you for letting you stay at work an extra hour to hang out with us here.
I got to thank you because everybody's leaving or coming in on second shift now. It makes me look like I've really been putting in the hours. So I appreciate it.
Well, again, everybody, Jimmy, I can't thank you enough, and we got to wrap things up. I can't believe it's another 50 minutes gone already. Again, that is Jimmy Weller. You can find him on Facebook at Jimmy Weller.
Thanks for listening to the Outstanding Life Podcast. Follow Johnny D on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Motivational Cowboy. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, advertise, or would like to make a donation, please visit motivationalcowboy.com. And remember to have an outstanding day.